In a world permeated with barbecue websites under the control of tyrannical administrators, there was one man, a one-man army. He broke all the rules. He allowed his members to speak out, give their opinions, and make the website what it is today. Get ready for Greg Rempe and the Barbecue Central Show.
Live from Cleveland, Ohio, it's the Barbecue Central Show.
It's the Barbecue Central Show on LA Talk Radio. I'm Greg Rempe. A very good Tuesday evening to you, wherever you may be. Happy to have you. What's up? Awesome show for you lined up tonight. You know the drill by now. If you want to call in, if you want to take part in the show, certainly you are welcome to do that. All I ask is that you do have a valid barbecue take or grilling take, and that you don't bring the show down. 216-220-0966. That's 216-220-0966. Or you can email the show at bbqcentralradio@gmail.com. That's bbqcentralradio@gmail.com. You can always keep up with all the good things that are happening in the world of barbecue and grilling by going to our website, thebarbecuecentral.com. Also, if you've missed a Barbecue Central show here on LA Talk Radio, you can go ahead, circle back to the archives page by clicking on the Barbecue Central badge. You'll get a whole list of archive shows. You can also download the ones that you have missed. The Barbecue Central Show is also on iTunes. If you're an iPodder, if you use iTunes to get your podcasts, look up the Barbecue Central Show on LA Talk Radio, and you will get a full list of all the shows that have transpired here. Typically, when a show is ended on a Tuesday, it is up on the iTunes site within a 12 to 24-hour period, or sooner, if I am so inclined. So that's the way you can get the archives if you are not listening live. Listeners, do something for me tonight. Right now, you're in front of your computers. If you like the show, if you know people that are interested in barbecue and grilling or just entertaining radio on their internet, email them and tell them to listen to the show. Send them a link, latalkradio.com. That's latalkradio.com. Hit the send button and let everybody know that you are down with the Barbecue Central Show. You would like them to listen. I would certainly appreciate that. That's a good way to grow the listenership, make the show more popular than it already is. And believe me, there are millions and millions of Barbecue Central fans out there right now. Here's what's happening on the show tonight. We're going to have a roundtable segment to continue with the very hot topic of what we've been discussing here over the last few weeks, which is personal bias in competition judging. Also, we'll be talking about garnish as well. And we have a roundtable set up with some of the most prolific competition barbecuers currently. And if they continue to do as well as they do, potentially of all time, we have Jim Minion. We have Rod Gray from Pellet Envy. And we also have Kevin Bevington from HomeBBQ.com. He is also the president of Florida Barbecue Association, so we'll be able to get a unique view on him because he does, Kevin, that is, does compete in both FBA and KCBS events, where Jim and Rod do primarily compete in just KCBS events, but I'm sure they all dabble in other sanctioning bodies as well. So, with that being said, the last segment of the night is Know Your Cue. Wolfrub.com, that's WOLFERUB.com, is going to be giving away a 4-ounce heavy-duty meat injector, $33 value up for grabs. So listen to the show live and call in with the correct answer of the trivia question that I will be making up during the course of the show, and you can win a 33-ounce heavy-duty meat injector that is donated graciously by Wolfrub.com. That's WOLFERUB.com. They also have a great line of rubs as well. Actually, I've been authorized by Larry for the winning caller to be able to pick their prize. So if you want a meat injector, you can have a meat injector. If you want a 3-pack of Wolf Rub, you can choose that as well. I'm going to get out right now. We'll have Jim, Rod, and Kevin on the line when we get back. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show on LA Talk Radio. The Big Green Egg is the most unique barbecue and grilling product on the market, with its unmatched capabilities and flexibility that surpass all other conventional cookers combined. It's a smoker, a grill, and an oven. You can literally cook any food on it year-round, from appetizers to entrees to desserts. The Big Green Egg lights fast, and it's ready to cook on within 10 minutes, and no need for that yucky lighter fluid. The ceramic walls retain heat with an accurate temperature control, so there are no hot spots. And since the top is down while you're cooking, there are no grease flare-ups. Its handsome, unique, and decorative design produces the juiciest and most succulent food you'll ever taste. And don't forget about the world-class customer service and the lifetime warranty that goes along with every unit. You can find out more about the Big Green Egg by visiting their website at biggreenegg.com. That's biggreenegg.com. The Big Green Egg, the most versatile and unique barbecue and grilling product on the market.
Barbecue has never been easier with the Barbecue Guru. The Barbecue Guru is a temperature control and monitor for all pits, charcoal, wood, electric, your pit. It easily attaches to any smoker or pit and gives you simple, trouble-free control of your temperatures, so you can make championship quality barbecue every time and all the time. And it's location-free. Take it anywhere. This amazing breakthrough in barbecue technology is a microprocessor-controlled draft system that uses temperature monitors and a small fan to keep your temperatures constant. The stainless steel Guru Pit Minder gives you a choice of controls from 90 to 370 degrees. So cold smoking, pepper drying, making cheese or jerky, or fabulous briskets and ribs is nothing short of effortless. The Procom 4 lets you monitor your pit from up to 600 feet away. And there's more. Check out the full line of products and accessories for the future of barbecue with new items on the way. Visit thebarbecueguru.com. That's www.thebbqguru.com or call 1-800-288-GURU.
This is Jimmy Burns from Malvern, Ohio, and you're listening to Barbecue Central.
Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show on LA Talk Radio.
Welcome back to the Barbecue Central Show here on LA Talk Radio. Don't forget, last segment, we have a giveaway sponsored by Wolf Rub Barbecue Seasonings. That's WOLFERUB.com. Your choice, either a 4-ounce heavy-duty meat injector or a 3-pack of Wolf Rub Barbecue Seasonings. So be sure, listen live, stay tuned, and have rapid dial fingers in order to win this unique, highly coveted, and highly valuable prize donated by Wolf Rub Barbecue Seasonings. All right, as promised, we're going to go ahead and jump into kind of a popular style interview they used to do on the podcast called the Round Table. And I wanted to go ahead and welcome in, hopefully I've got everybody in here, Jim Minion of Two Loose Screws Barbecue Team, Rod Gray of the Pellet Envy Competition Barbecue Team, and Kevin Bevington of HomeBBQ.com. Guys, welcome to Barbecue Central.
How you doing?
All right, I got everybody, I guess. All right, so here's what we want to talk about. For the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about here on the show, and I'm sure all of you are faithful listeners, so you're no stranger to the topic. Basically, we've been talking to people from the KCBS. There's been a lot of back and forth on a number of different barbecue forums about personal bias or preferential bias in the actual judging that takes place at competitions. And basically what we're trying to do tonight, get some ideas from guys that are out there in the competition circuit to see if this is just something that isn't anywhere near as rampant as everybody's making out to be or what. So we'll start with Jim of Two Loose Screws. Jim, judging bias has been a hot topic. So what is your take on this? Is this as rampant as everybody is talking about here over the last couple of weeks?
It's always been it's always been rampant. The problem is if you don't get a score you like it, there's a bias involved. As time has gone on, though, there is. You used to be able to take a chicken breast and be able to score. Nowadays, you'd be lucky if if you do score with it. Not that it can't be done.
Rod Gray.
I take the judging bias a different way. When it comes to the actual food, I believe good food is good food, and maybe I'm trying to be too much of a purist, but I think if the judge is doing his or her job, if it's good food, they score it well. If it's bad food, they don't score it well. My definition of judging bias, Greg, relates to people trying to identify certain teams' boxes. And maybe I'm way off base on that, but that's what I understand as judging bias.
Kevin Bevington of HomeBBQ.com.
Well, I think I was thinking bias in terms of their personal preference. I didn't even think of the other, but in terms of personal preference and say taste, there's going to be biases, and it's going to be very difficult, as human beings, for them to just kind of reject those biases. So, with that said, I think personal preference in regard to those areas is perfectly natural, and I think has to be accepted to an extent. Rod brought up a very interesting point, and that's one that I didn't even think of. And obviously, that's a big problem if they're beginning to recognize boxes, whether it be presentations or whatever they're recognizing when they come in.
Now, how could that? This is blind judging. Nobody sees who's bringing in the boxes. I mean, are teams that are being that successful? Are their boxes that well recognized versus everybody else's? Kevin?
Well, to an extent. Part of what gives a team an edge is how they present their product and how polished that presentation is. That's every bit as important as how good it is and how tender it is.
Rod, what do you think?
So, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, in terms of that, when you've got a very distinct presentation, I guess it's possible that if it's seen, that it could certainly get around as to how it's identified.
Rod, what do you think about that?
Well, I guess I don't get out as much on the forums as everybody else because I guess I didn't understand our topic. I guess I'm kind of showing my ass for that, but. Honestly, there's been stories about people who are trying to identify certain teams' boxes and score them up or score them down. Is it possible? Absolutely, it's possible. How simple would it be for a judge at a table to say, hey, I had that exact presentation last week and it was awesome. Now, they may not know exactly who the team is, or they may try to speculate who the team is, but that's an issue I have a problem with. You judge it for what it is. But in terms of the more traditional, I guess, definition that we began to talk about, KCBS intentionally does not teach taste. They teach appearance and they teach tenderness because everybody's preference on taste is going to be completely different. So when you say judge bias in terms of judging a product, I think of what I introduced, which is people trying to recognize a specific team's boxes and judge up or down based on that.
All right, I'll go ahead and try and re-clarify my point. But Jim, do you think that there's judges out there that are looking or that can recognize teams' boxes?
If they go to a contest often enough in a particular area with a particular team, it definitely could happen. But what I really see, as a rep, as somebody that teaches it, and somebody that stood there and listened to judges talk. It's really the bias can go to what Rod's saying, but also the bias goes to I've heard things like a piece of chicken without a bone doesn't get a good score. I've heard it's too sweet. It's got too much sauce. If it has sauce, it's going to be scored down. You hear people saying this, and they will actually sit at a table and talk this way between turn-ins or before it starts. And there's definite bias out there, and it comes from a lot of places. Let's put it this way, though: a good judge understands it's not about looking for their favorite piece of barbecue. It's looking for those things we're asking them to look for. Something that's tender, something that's moist, something that's presented well, and something that tastes good. Does it have to be the way what you consider your favorite barbecue? I would hope not, because unless you're going to come and tell me what that is, I got no way of knowing.
And I guess that's actually more the question that I was looking at as far as bias is concerned. The box was just kind of a side topic that I decided to go off on my own because I'm a brilliant host. Nevertheless, the bias was, for instance, judges are scoring what the turn-in isn't versus what it is. So let's say somebody pulled in or dropped in pulled chicken in their box instead of thighs. Thighs are 99.9% of the time what's going to be in a box. So when you open pulled chicken, it's going to take the judge by shock, and I gotta imagine that bias is it could be the best chicken out there, but it could be scored down considerably because it's not thigh. Rod, yes or no?
Absolutely, Greg. You know what? That bias has gone on from the day we started to judge. My first ever experience in competition barbecue was as a judge, and I experienced it at my table in the second category. A box was opened and presented were these ribs that were as orange as anything I've ever seen. And I looked around at the other faces, and they were all making faces about this box. So we all took our ribs out, and I'm going to tell you, that was the best rib I sampled that day. It didn't look good. I don't know what the cook did to make it orange. But it's a judging bias, then, by definition, when those other 5 judges all looked at that and wrinkled their nose up at it, they were all experienced. I wasn't. They decided before they tasted it that it wasn't going to be good. I guess that's your traditional definition of judging bias, and I've seen that go on since I've been in competition barbecue.
And that's what I'm talking about. Kevin, do you experience the same thing?
Well, sure. I mean, what he's saying is absolutely correct. I mean, and what Jim said is as well. I mean, it's quite honestly, it's certainly not something that's taught by anybody, I don't think, and not necessarily is it the going to be the newer judges either. So I've heard exactly what Jim said he's heard, and I've heard that as well, and I've had some come to my site and say things like that, which I had to bite my tongue and not explode in that situation, because as a team you never want to hear those things. I mean, you want to feel that you've put yourself out there and you've turned your stuff in and be judged fair along with everybody else. And
Kevin, why not explode at them? Why not explain to them that it's inappropriate?
Well, yes. I mean, and I've gotten into that conversation, but not as let's put it this way, not as heated as others.
All right, guys, we're going to hold off for 2 minutes. We're going to step away, come back, do a second segment. As time is going faster than I anticipated, so that's a good thing. Stick around. We'll pick up with the finishing part of Judge Bias, and we'll get in everybody's favorite part of the judging, the garnish. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show on LA Talk Radio. The Big Green Egg is the most unique barbecue and grilling product on the market, with its unmatched capabilities and flexibility that surpass all other conventional cookers combined. It's a smoker, a grill, and an oven. You can literally cook any food on it year-round, from appetizers to entrees to desserts. The Big Green Egg lights fast, and it's ready to cook on within 10 minutes, and no need for that yucky lighter fluid. The ceramic walls retain heat with an accurate temperature control, so there are no hot spots. And since the top is down while you're cooking, there are no grease flare-ups. Its handsome, unique, and decorative design produces the juiciest and most succulent food you'll ever taste. And don't forget about the world-class customer service and the lifetime warranty that goes along with every unit. You can find out more about the Big Green Egg by visiting their website at biggreenegg.com. That's biggreenegg.com. The Big Green Egg, the most versatile and unique barbecue and grilling product on the market.
The future of barbecue is already here at thebarbecueguru.com. From the amazing guru that monitors and controls the temperatures of any charcoal, wood, or electric pit to the Caldera Tallboy knockdown smoker. Yes, it breaks down and stores flat, yet it's still a robust, sturdy, portable cooker and smokehouse. It also serves as an efficient temperature-controlled convection oven using wood or charcoal. The Tallboy is designed to fit all catering pans and can be used as a warming oven. You can cook in any style you choose. Make ribs, chicken, jerky, vegetables, smoked cheese, whatever you want. Take it to KCBS competitions and unload it from the trunk of your car. TheBarbecueGuru.com is where you'll find the Caldera 3-Bay Caterer. It's stainless steel and uses charcoal or sterno for chafing purposes. And it doubles as a 3-bay sink or wash station with hot water and knocks down in seconds with no tools required for transportation and storage. The future of barbecue is here at thebarbecueguru.com. That's www.thebbqguru.com or call 1-800-288-GURU.
This is Jim Minion from Two Loose Screws. I'm listening to Barbecue Central.
The phone lines are open on the Barbecue Central Show.
Barbecue Central Show.
Call 216-220-0966 to get on the air. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Welcome back to the Barbecue Central Show on LA Talk Radio. The website, thebarbecuecentral.com, 216-220-0966, number to call in. You can also email at bbqcentralradio@gmail.com. Don't forget, next segment, we have the Know Your Q game, where you can win a 4-ounce heavy-duty meat injector or a 3-pack of Wolf Rub barbecue seasonings, graciously donated by wolfrub.com. That's WOLFERUB.com, wolfrub.com. And now we'll go ahead and pick back up with the judging bias conversation, guys. Thanks for sticking with me over the break. Here's my thought, and I've never competed, so who am I to say anything? But it would seem to me that when judges are talking about their biases right there out in the open at judging tables, as you've all have experienced, that this probably isn't actually the new judge, and Rod actually alluded to that a little bit. But these are probably judges that are a little bit more seasoned. Maybe they've actually competed more than a handful of times, and they're expecting to see what they would make at a competition, but now they're judging versus cooking. Do all of you guys seem to think that these are more seasoned judges that are actually committing this cardinal act? And we'll go to Jim Minion first.
Actually, it's across the board, depending on who you're talking about and where they went. Some of the worst judges I've seen have been cooks, really, really hard on people. You can actually teach bias. I've actually seen it done, not by KCBS, but I've seen it done. And it works really well if you want to manipulate things. There was a judge that he no sooner got out of his class than he went out and bought his suspenders and his straw hat and got the pins on it. And, they're out there. But there's a lot of influence on the table from master judges. That program, I've actually heard Ed Roy state, and I probably shouldn't say this, but it might have been a mistake even starting that program.
Rod Gray, is it across the board, or is it more experienced judges in your opinion?
Well, first let me say that I'm not around the judges. I'm out cooking. My experience in the judging tent was before I started to cook, and I haven't been back since. But if you made me answer the question, I believe it's the more experienced judges. I believe the more experience they get, the more opinionated they get, the less open-minded they get. And I don't believe it's the experienced judges who go out and cook. I hear judges all the time who delve into the cooking world and realize how hard it is, and I think that opens their eyes some. I think it's the master judges, the super judges, the ones that travel the country judging weekend after weekend, trying to get their masters in less than 2 years. Not all of them. I don't want to categorize everybody, lump them all into one group. But in my opinion, the people who want to spout what they think is perfect barbecue without being open-minded enough to realize that regardless of what it looks like or how it's presented, good food is good food. I feel like it's the guys who are out there weekend after weekend.
Kevin Bevington, is it the experienced guys, or is it across the board new and experienced guys?
Well, I think it's somewhat across the board. Now, I'm coming from the same angle as Rod is. I mean, when I judged was before I started cooking, and I haven't been in a judging room myself either. So, and what I hear is truly just purely hearsay, from that standpoint. Unless I have somebody come up to me and say something, but I mean, my guess would be I would definitely lean more towards the more experienced, as Rod said, the super judge. And I have to say also, I know of some masters, some what I would assume would be very good judges. I don't know. I'm not in there watching them score, but I do know, as people, it would really be beyond me to expect them to be that way, knowing what we have to go through on the outside to produce that, to turn that into them, and really kind of that's the whole key is before they give that team that 2, they really need to decide that that entry deserves it.
So obviously we want to tie this portion of the conversation up, so I'm going to ask the impossible question. Of course, we can't eliminate the way the human person works, but taking that out of the equation, as easy that is to do. Rod, what do you think the solution is to this potential issue? I mean, is there a revamping of the scoring system that has to be done? Are there substructures that have to be put in place to as best eliminate personal and preferential bias? What do you think?
Kevin, Greg, I wish I had the answer to that question. Honestly and truthfully, I would like to see a better system. However, until one is presented to me that I can get my head around, I don't know what it would be. The second part of my answer to that question would be simply this. The cream still rises to the top. The better teams still seem to find their ways into the winning circles. So, I'm not sure. While I believe there's something better out there to eliminate some of these issues, truthfully, I'm not sure how big of a problem it is.
Kevin, what do you think?
Well, I don't know, Greg. I mean, there's 2 ideal solutions. I mean, first, if somebody comes up with that computer program that we can shove all this barbecue into and have it come out the other end and have it scored, there's never going to be a perfect system. That's for sure. And number 2, in my opinion, until that becomes a professional level, if it ever gets to that, to where a judge is actually on a professional level, they're actually paid and trained and expected to perform on a professional level, it's going to be real difficult to try to have a system that's anywhere close to perfect.
I know Jim Minion actually has an answer tucked away in his back pocket. So, Jim, the floor is yours.
Actually, I think with KCBS, they're on a path right now that is outstanding. If you realized where the system came from, the scoring system, how it was built, all those things, and what's going on now with the board and had started before this new one was elected, the technology itself for the scoring system is going to improve greatly. And I know that KCBS is working with, I believe, the University of Missouri with their culinary department to write a better teaching program. I think that will go a long ways. The hardest part in teaching judging is the fact that what it really means to be a judge, what their job really is. A lot of people really don't understand. It's kind of like that driver that you see it on the highway and you realize they don't understand the concepts. And it's the same thing with judging. They really don't understand, and it hasn't. The system isn't in place to be able to transmit that yet. But I think the steps that are being made right now are commendable, and I think they're headed in the right direction because it is going to be about training. And I think once they put it in place, everybody should be retrained.
Kind of a subcategory to all this personal bias stuff in the judging is garnish. And I want to start with Kevin because he's kind of got a unique experience in the fact that he's, obviously does quite a bit in FBA, but he also does KCBS, 2 different complete views on, garnish and no garnish. So, Kevin, On the KCBS side, obviously you use garnish. You've said before in interviews that we've done. In the FBA side, there is no garnish in the boxes. So how do you stand? Do you like to garnish the boxes? Do you like it on the FBA side that there is no garnish? So we'll just kind of open it up from there.
Okay. Obviously, I prefer not having it now. Now, do I think the box looks better with it? Yeah, I do, without question. I'm not going to go into a KCBS event and put myself in a disadvantage, by not using it. But all aspects of it. I mean, from especially on a traveling team, and when I'm doing KCBS events, I'm a road team. I'm a traveling team, and it's a pain. I mean, and we may stop. My wife and I may stop, 3 or 4 places or more along the way to get until she gets exactly what she wants. The quality of what she wants, and so you have to plot it out all the way. You have to have a cooler dedicated for it. And then you have to make sure, if you're there a day or 2 or 3 days early or whatever it is, you have to make sure you prep it to where it stays fresh, stays alive, So there's a lot involved with it. And besides that, she's the one that usually deals with that, and that is perfectly fine with me. And she's the one that is the master at using the garnish in a box. So, and she likes that, and that's great because that's certainly not me. My answer to that is I certainly prefer without it. That's for sure.
But if you're going to have to put it in, are you then held up to a specific standard where it better be looking like this good? Otherwise, when the judge opens the box, you could begin to be scored down.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's you can absolutely get scored down on garnish if you don't use it well.
All right. So now we'll go to Rod. And I guess this is where I completely don't understand where KCBS sits on this, because it is not mandatory by KCBS rule to have to use garnish. You don't have to use it. However, if you don't use it, much like the pulled chicken, I would imagine you would be at an immediate disadvantage because it's not something that the judges are used to seeing. They would just see meat in a styrofoam container, and you'll be at a potential disadvantage in your scoring. So, Rod, do you think that it should just be voted in and it should be you have to use it, or you shouldn't use it and it shouldn't be in this gray this gray area of, well, you don't have to use it, but you better?
Well, first, let's make sure we know that Kevin is the president of the FBA that doesn't use garnish. I think that's an important point. But to answer your direct question, our founder, Gary Wells, intended for KCBS to use garnish. That's what separates us from the other sanctioning bodies. So, you don't have to use it. Your question is, should we just abolish that idea that garnish is optional and go with garnish? I don't know many teams who are serious who decide to skip the garnish stage in their presentation in a KCBS contest.
But it is not mandatory to have it.
No, it's not mandatory.
So I guess
and I think that leads. I think that's how we got on this topic in the first place, Greg, is because it's what you're saying or what you're implying is that it's a judge's bias.
Right.
When the box is open, is all's in there is meat.
Right.
I have seen a few boxes of strictly meat that are beautiful that I would happily score the highest score you can give a box, which is a 9. But they don't come along very often because nobody practices it.
Jim Minion?
Teams like Pellet Envy and Home and Chris Lilly's and Dr. Barbecue they've made statements to me in the past, and I believe them totally. If you're not going to do garnish well, don't do it. If you're there's an art form to it, and use it to your advantage. Garnish you will get counted down for it if you don't do it well. So if you're not going to do it well, why bother? No, especially if they're going to take points off. It's probably for a lot of teams one of the most overlooked parts of it. If you're going to use it, do it well. That's what it gets down to. And is there a bias? Well, not really. The bottom line is if you don't put the box together well, you're not going to get the score. The other side of it is there is a question out there, what's a 9 in appearance? You just don't see them very often. The better teams get them, though. And like Rod said, the cream does rise to the top. I remember when the scoring system changed and I heard it's the end of KCBS. I mean, they're going away. They're going away. They're going down. Didn't seem to happen. If you really look at what KCBS is doing, 275 plus contests a year, are there problems? Sure. But if you look at the percentages are less than 5%. I mean, think about that. What all goes into running a contest and all the things that can come up. And there's always a team that's trying to get around a rule somehow and come up with something clever. If you look at the mistakes they make, they're really pretty minor. But it's a huge organization. Are you going to have problems? Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank God they're not the government.
All right, so we'll quickly go back around the room and you give a parting shot or a plug, website, whatever. So, Kevin, we'll start with you.
Okay. Well, if I can give a plug, that's great.
Go ahead.
If they can visit homebbq.com and have many specials on seasonings and barbecue sauce right now. But no, I appreciate you having it on, and it's an honor to be on here with Jim and Rod.
And?
Oh, and you, Greg.
Thank you.
Yeah, always you, Greg.
Jeez, got to pull it out like teeth. Rod Gray, go ahead.
Greg, I appreciate you having me back. And as Kevin said, it's a great honor to be on here with Kevin and with Jim. Kevin's my pellet brother, and Jim and I were colleagues on the board as well as competition cooks. If you want to visit pelletenvy.com, I don't have anything for sale, but I try to make my blog as entertaining as possible. And I do want to thank my sponsor, Grease Lightning, who's making it possible for me to be a full-time barbecue cook this year. Mr.
Jim Minion?
It's www.twoloosescrews.com or twoloosebarbecue.com, spell out the two. Catering menus on there. We've gotten extremely busy. Things are good. We're looking at opening a retail spot soon. Kevin, I'd like to talk to you about selling your rub for you. And, things are really looking good. We're busy. We've got about 90,000 in contracts in the next month and a half, and we're getting more every day. So things are good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you coming on. And next time a roundtable is up, I'll hit you guys up. If you're interested, we'll have you back on. And continued success to each and every one of you. Have a good night.
Thanks, Greg.
All right, so there was the first go at a BQ roundtable. I thought that went pretty good. Couple segments. I'm actually a little late, so we'll break out to commercial right now. When we come back, know your cue for a chance to win a 4-ounce heavy-duty meat injector or a 3-pack of Wolf Rub barbecue seasoning. Stand by.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show on LA Talk Radio.
Barbecue has never been easier with the Barbecue Guru. The Barbecue Guru is a temperature control and monitor for all pits, charcoal, wood, electric, your pit. It easily attaches to any smoker or pit and gives you simple, trouble-free control of your temperatures, so you can make championship quality barbecue every time and all the time. And it's location-free. Take it anywhere. This amazing breakthrough in barbecue technology is a microprocessor-controlled draft system that uses temperature monitors and a small fan to keep your temperatures constant. The stainless steel Guru Pit Minder gives you a choice of controls from 90 to 370 degrees. So cold smoking, pepper drying, making cheese or jerky, or fabulous briskets and ribs is nothing short of effortless. The Procom 4 lets you monitor your pit from up to 600 feet away. And there's more. Check out the full line of products and accessories for the future of barbecue with new items on the way. Visit thebarbecueguru.com. That's www.thebbqguru.com or call 1-800-288-GURU.
The Big Green Egg is the most unique barbecue and grilling product on the market, with its unmatched capabilities and flexibility that surpass all other conventional cookers combined. It's a smoker, a grill, and an oven.
You can literally cook any food on it year-round, from appetizers to entrees to desserts. The Big Green Egg lights fast, and it's ready to cook on within 10 minutes, and no need for that yucky lighter fluid. The ceramic walls retain heat with an accurate temperature control, so there are no hot spots. And since the top is down while you're cooking, there are no grease flare-ups. Its handsome, unique, and decorative design produces the juiciest and most succulent food you'll ever taste. And don't forget about the world-class customer service and the lifetime warranty that goes along with every unit. You can find out more about the Big Green Egg by visiting their website at biggreenegg.com. That's biggreenegg.com. The Big Green Egg, the most versatile and unique barbecue and grilling product on the market.
Hey, this is Helen Paradise from SoCal, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show on LA Talk Radio.
The Barbecue Central Show on LATalkRadio.com, 216-220-0966. Get that touch-tone finger ready and dial in rapidly as I give out the trivia question for your chance to win what, you ask? A 4-ounce heavy-duty meat injector or a 3-pack of Wolf Rub barbecue seasonings. You can find more about the full line of Wolf Rub barbecue seasonings, the cookers, the grills, the accessories, the thermometers at WOLFERUB.com. That's wolfrub.com, and that was a terrible fade out of my music bed there. I certainly apologize. So here's the question. Hopefully you were all listening very intently, because right towards the end there in my last question about garnish, Rod Gray made reference to an organization that my other panel member, Kevin Bevington, is the head of. If you can tell me the name of the association he was referring to, you will get a chance to choose either a 3-pack of Wolf Rub barbecue seasoning, which includes the Wolf Rub Original, the Wolf Rub Bold, and the brand new Wolf Rub Citrus, good on seafood and pork. Seafood and pork! Or the 4-ounce heavy-duty meat injector. This thing is pretty badass. Looks like it's all like surgical stainless steel type whatnot. They got the one perforated and the one slanted point meat needle, both included. So there you go. Anyway, that's the question, and you want to answer the barbecue association that Kevin Bevington is associated with. 216-220-0966 for a chance to win the 3-pack of Wolf Rub barbecue seasonings or a 4-ounce heavy-duty meat injector. So we will go to area code 904, Barbecue Central Radio, name and where you're calling from.
James, Keystone Cookers, Keystone Heights, Florida.
James, how are you tonight?
Good, Greg. How you doing?
Were you listening to the show, or you just happened to tune right into where I told you to call in to win a prize?
No, I tuned in to listen to the show tonight.
Oh, thank you. Are you want to play this show or what?
Yeah, man.
Stand by. And now it's time for the game show sweeping the nation. Know Your Cue with your host, me, Greg Rempe. And now, here's me, Greg Rempe. All right, now, James, if you were listening to the show intently, you can tell me, and of course I know you're going to know this because of where you live, and that you like barbecue, but Kevin Bevington is associated with what barbecue association?
He's the president of the FBA.
Which is what?
Florida Barbecue Association.
Judges, Florida Barbecue Association. Oh, somebody had their pad and pencil out tonight. So this is what you want to do, James. Go ahead and forward me your mailing address. And included, you want to tell me either the meat injector or the Wolf Rub barbecue seasoning. Be sure to specify that in the email, and we'll rush it right out to you.
All right, Greg.
All right, thanks, James.
Thank you, man.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
We go to area code 805, Barbecue Central Radio, name and where you're calling from. Hello. Area code 805 going twice. No. Very good. If you're calling in to give your thoughts on the roundtable interview, feel free to do so. We have 37. Well, you get the idea. 216-220-0966. Congratulations to James Turner, as I write it down, Keystone Cookers. He is going to be either getting a 4-ounce heavy-duty meat injector or a 3-pack of Wolf Rub barbecue seasonings, again, donated by Wolf Rub Barbecue Seasonings, and that's WOLFERUB.com. They also sell cookers, spices, and so forth. All right, we'll go back to the phone one last time. Area code 805, Barbecue Central radio name and where you're calling from. Pay attention to... Hello. Oh, sorry. Man, you called in again. Hate dropping the hammer on people twice. But I'll do it. All right. Good enough for me if it's good enough for you. It's going to do it for this show. I want to thank the guests. Rod Gray from Pellet Envy. You can find out more about Rod and his bloggings about his competition team at Pellet Envy, PELLET Envy.com. Also, Kevin Bevington from HomeBBQ.com. If you can't remember that, I'm sure Home Barbecue would work. He owns, I think, 15 different versions of that URL. HomeBBQ.com. He also has a line of backyard barbecue and grilling videos that you should get your hands on. So call and get it today for pre-order. HomeBBQ.com. Also, Jim Minion, the inventor of the Minion Method. 2 Loose Screw BBQ.com. Area code 805 calling in. I should pick you up just to drop the hammer on you, but I won't. That's Jim Minion's website, 2loosescrewbbq.com. Check them out. Again, thanks for coming on tonight, guys, and talking about all the barbecue bias whatnot. Thanks to the Barbecue Central crew. Sound engineer Sam Hassan running my sound in Los Angeles, California. Don't forget to stay tuned for Broad Topics. Coming up after me at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Laura, Joan, Jillian, and Kelly. 4 broads, bottle of Cabernet, and a whole bunch of good time. Don't forget to check out all the programming we have here on LA Talk Radio. There is definitely something for everyone. We'll see you back here next Tuesday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for the Barbecue Central Show. This is your program host, Greg Rempe. Good night now.
The Big Green Egg is the most unique barbecue and grilling product on the market, with its unmatched capabilities and flexibility that surpass all other conventional cookers combined. It's a smoker, a grill, and an oven. You can literally cook any food on it year-round, from appetizers to entrees to desserts. The Big Green Egg lights fast, and it's ready to cook on within 10 minutes, and no need for that yucky lighter fluid. The ceramic walls retain heat with an accurate temperature control, so there are no hot spots. And since the top is down while you're cooking, there are no grease flare-ups. Its handsome, unique, and decorative design produces the juiciest and most succulent food you'll ever taste. And don't forget about the world-class customer service and the lifetime warranty that goes along with every unit. You can find out more about the Big Green Egg by visiting their website at biggreenegg.com. That's biggreenegg.com. The Big Green Egg, the most versatile and unique barbecue and grilling product on the market.
Barbecue has never been easier with the Barbecue Guru. The Barbecue Guru is a temperature control and monitor for all pits, charcoal, wood, electric, your pit. It easily attaches to any smoker or pit and gives you simple, trouble-free control of your temperatures, so you can make championship quality barbecue every time and all the time. And it's location-free. Take it anywhere. This amazing breakthrough in barbecue technology is a microprocessor-controlled draft system that uses temperature monitors and a small fan to keep your temperatures constant. The stainless steel Guru Pit Minder gives you a choice of controls from 90 to 370 degrees. So cold smoking, pepper drying, making cheese or jerky, or fabulous briskets and ribs is nothing short of effortless. The ProCom 4 lets you monitor your pit from up to 600 feet away. And there's more. Check out the full line of products and accessories for the future of barbecue with new items on the way. Visit thebarbecueguru.com. That's www.thebbqguru.com or call 1-800-288-GURU.